Welcome to our weekly show for the National Association of Independent Medical Practices. You can find us at NAIMP.org. NAIMP is an organization focused on helping independent medical practices become more successful by providing innovative discussions, networking with like-minded professionals, and opportunities for growth, education, and increased revenue. Check out our website today at naimp.org.
Hello, and welcome to today's podcast for NAIMP. This is Shirley Dudley, your host, and today we're very excited to have Michelle Lee as our guest. Michelle Lee is Executive Vice President for Avery Partners Healthcare, a healthcare services company which provides consulting, outsourcing, staffing, and executive search for healthcare systems and practices. Michelle is certified in behavioral profiling and has presented seminars throughout the Southeast on topics including interviewing, employment law, communication, and employee retention and motivation. Her passion is to assist her clients in being the best that they can be. It's her driving force. So we're really excited today. Michelle, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thanks so much, Shirley. Well, I want everybody just to play along with me for a few minutes. Take a minute, close your eyes, and imagine that you're just waking up. Now open your eyes. Look at the clock, and you realize it's 15 minutes before the alarm is scheduled to go off. A huge smile grows across your face, not because you have 15 minutes more to sleep, but because it's Monday and you can't wait to get your day started. I'm up early. My Monday just got longer. I've added minutes to my day. You jump out of bed, you're filled with energy, you do your exercise routine, you shower, you get dressed, you grab a nutritional breakfast, and you head into the office. You walk into your practice, and the lights are bright, smiles are on all your employees' faces. Everyone is thrilled to be here. Thank goodness it's Monday. Now tell me, how many of you experienced this exact scenario this past Monday? If we did not experience it, how can we expect our employees to experience it? Unfortunately, this is usually the scenario we all experience on Monday morning. Well, let's take a look at this. The Gallup Healthways Wellbeing 5 measures the 5 essential elements of well-being. Let's look at how we can take this information and transform our practices. So what are the 5 areas? First of all, we have purpose. Purpose is defined as liking what you do each day and understanding why it's important. Social is having a supportive relationships and loving your life. Financial, managing your economic life to reduce stress and increase security. Community, defined as loving where you live, feeling safe, and taking pride in your community. And physical, having good health and enough energy to get things done daily. So face it, for most of us, we are with the people we work with more waking hours than we are with our own families. Who wants to be in an environment with people they don't like, they don't feel support from, and an environment that drains the energy out of them? When you're in an environment like this, you have nothing left to give your family when you do go home. One recent survey states that since 2008, happiness in the work environment has been on the decline. Take a look at this. In 2008, the number was 51.4%. 2013, we're only at 48%. People who are dissatisfied with their jobs also report that they feel less rested, they have higher smoking rates, and they have lower overall well-being scores. So is all of this too much to add or to focus on? What I would like to do today is just to get your wheels turning. If we focus on these 5 areas and evaluate what we are presently doing in our practices, I believe a few tweaks can make a positive difference for everyone. So let's start with purpose. We're in healthcare, right? This should be simple. We're not making widgets. We're touching lives every day. Our purpose is to help improve lives. But when we are in the trenches, it's hard to remember why we are there. We're being inundated with regulations, HIPAA, ICD-9, or ICD-10. That's the pain today. Meaningful use, OSHA, and on and on and on. So we have to start by creating an environment, a time on a regular basis where we can remind one another of our purpose. So, for instance, monthly staff meetings where we're sharing success stories and sharing the joy. This is why you do what you do. I am very involved in one of our sister's companies, Avery Rehabilitation, and we own physical therapy clinics, as well as, I'm going to back up before that video starts, sorry, but we own physical therapy clinics, and we manage the rehab departments in skilled nursing facilities. I received this video last week, and I did receive permission to share it, from one of our rehab directors in one of our Rome, Georgia facilities. I was having a particularly stressful morning, dealing with management issues, when I clicked on this email. This reminded me of why we do everything we do. This patient has been suffering from Guillain-Barré disease, and she was paralyzed from the waist down in April. Just take a minute and take a look at this video. These are her first steps since April, when she was paralyzed from the neck down. Look at the joy on her face and the joy in the faces of those therapists. That reminded me instantly. This is why we do what we do, because every piece of paper that is pushed on a desk, it all goes back to moments like that. That's why we're in healthcare. That's the types of things that we need to remind our employees about the progress, the success, and how we're making a difference in the lives of the people we serve day to day. So let's take a look at social. Now, we can't help with individuals' personal relationships, their love lives. HR strongly discourages this, but we can create an environment that creates support. You've all seen the surveys. People assume that money is the driving force that makes everyone happy at work. but most surveys show that money is not the top motivator. GloboForce says that 67% of employees are motivated by praise from their managers, 63% from attention from leaders, 62% when they're given opportunities to lead, and we also know that there is 46% more turnover in companies with ineffective recognition programs. So how? How do we do this? One of the easiest ways is to simply say thank you. Thanks for the effort. That term is used best by the CEO for Avery Partners Healthcare. I can't recall a time that I've been on a call with him that he did not say at the end of the conversation to me, Michelle, thanks for the effort. Not thanks for the success, thanks for making us money, but thanks for the effort. Thanks for giving it all you have. That simple statement goes a long way with an employee. Depending on your environment, giving people what I call spot awards can also go a long way. It might just be a Starbucks gift card, movie tickets, but when someone has done a good job, gone out of their way, simply stopping to say thanks and handing them a gift does wonders. Verbally praising individuals in front of their peers can do so much for them as well. I recently, as you can see, I have some excellent slides that were put together not by me. I'm not as creative, but by our marketing director with our firm. And recently he put together another program for me, and he was able to take my words and just bring them to life. It was magical to me. And I happened to be standing at his desk looking at this when several other key leaders in the company were walking down the hallway. I called them in to praise him in front of them as well as in front of some of his other peers, because it was so significant to me what a talent we had in this young man. I also had an employer at one time in my career who would write personal notes on our paycheck stubs. And I know as managers we get busy, and although we notice what's going on, many times we don't stop to share our thoughts. And that was always so important to me. It got to be to a point where I couldn't wait to open that paycheck. And although that money went right into my account, I looked at that sub to see what that note was. What did she notice in the past 2 weeks that I did that I didn't realize she noticed? Very, very important. And so many times now with payroll, everything is automated. Even your stubs are sent electronically to you. But there are places where you can make notations on individual stubs. So look into that, because again, it's a nice little message. And in our office, we love to acknowledge birthdays. And you do have to make certain you have a system for this, because you never want to forget someone. But we have always made an effort to do a cake. And you know, I realized a long time ago that for many adults, this may be the only birthday celebration they have. There may not be anyone else in their life that's going to go out of their way to give them a cake and to stop and do the simple happy birthday song. That's another way. Again, we're with the people we work with more waking hours than we're with our own families. So we do need to celebrate those personal events. And employment anniversaries. Recognize how their time serving your practice or your company. This can be anything from a simple card to a rose for every year of service. Or you can give specific gifts for specific celebrations. I have one client that on the 5th anniversary, he provides them with a paid trip to a foreign country. He wants his employees to grow, and he believes that the more of the world that they see, the better they're going to be with all the patients and with all diversities. And so he encourages this. And if you don't think that encourages people to stick around, give it a try. People will make sure they stay around for that type of recognition and that type of benefit. I have another client that acknowledges, he actually is an orthodontic practice, and it's all females working in the practice, just happens to be, that's his team. And he has for years acknowledged them with a diamond necklace. So for each year, he gives them a simple diamond, and after several years, they're able to trade those diamonds back in for larger diamonds. And it's just another touch, and they wear that with their scrubs every day. Great, great benefit for those employees. Life events, celebrate. Again, anything that's happening in that employee's life, marriages, births, acknowledging when they lose a loved one. We want them to feel like they are part of a family. Even if you're with a large healthcare organization, a large practice, it can be in small teams that some of this is done. Another practice that is easy to implement is what I call one-to-ones. And recognize what I'm saying here, one-to-ones, not one-on-ones. This is a regularly scheduled time that you sit down with your employee for a specified amount of time and allow them to share with you how things are going with their work duties, with their work life. It gives them the opportunity to ask for help and to solicit feedback. I use a simple form that they complete ahead of time so that I know what they want to talk about. I'm not a big proponent of annual performance evaluations. I believe people need feedback on a regular basis. By putting this one-to-one together, you can really accomplish everything that you would have accomplished on an annual performance evaluation, but you're doing it in smaller time periods. So you can address any concerns you have closer to the time that an episode occurs, but it also gives them a chance to say, hey, I'm struggling with this. I need some assistance. This is how I need you to help me. And by you responding immediately, you're going to see improved performance from that employee. And let's discuss communication. Keep employees updated on changes. Over-communicate with them. When you do have a situation that's happening in your office, maybe there are going to be some changes in the office, changes in procedures, give people a heads up and explain to them what's happening and why the decision has been made. I know there are some old-fashioned management philosophies out there that an employee doesn't need to know why you want something done a certain way. They just need to do what you say. It's not going to really work in today's world. Now, just explaining to them why you've made the decision doesn't mean that you're going to, if they disagree, you're going to change your mind, but at least give them the courtesy of letting them know what the thought process was behind that decision. So let's discuss the next area, financial. First and foremost, a fair wage is what most people expect. So yes, we do work for the money. It's not what keeps us in the job, but we do need to make sure that our employees are paid a fair and competitive wage for what they're doing. But giving people also giving people the opportunity for advancement so they can continue to grow. Those two things are expected. But we can also offer additional programs to our employees, no matter how large or small our practice is. For instance, allowing a financial or tax advisor to do a lunch and learn on topics such as budgets, or advising them on 401k, on how to save for their kids' college. Any type of thing that you might be able to do at lunchtime, do a breakfast before practice hours, is also an added benefit for them. Let's take a look at community. Being a practice that is part of the community and that employees are proud to be part of is another motivating factor for the workplace. Again, we are in healthcare, and there are many ways that we can be involved and encourage our employees to do the same, such as getting involved in Chamber of Commerce events. And remember, any type of involvement that your employees do have, it helps your practice as well. It's giving your practice more exposure, but it's helping them feel good about what your practice is doing for that community. Support your employees with allowing them to be in groups such as Rotary. That might require a little bit from you. It may require you giving them a little extra time at lunch to attend their weekly Rotary meeting. It may be allowing them to post information and signs on the bulletin board in the practice break room that shares community events. And there's also walks, runs that are in your community that maybe the practice can put together a team to be part of. Once again, you are giving the message that your practice gives back and promotes that community. So physical. Let's look at this fifth area. We are in healthcare. We should walk the talk. January is just around the corner for some of you who may be listening to this. I think that we are broadcasting this at the beginning of January, so it's the first month of the year, so it's a great time to implement a wellness program that includes The Biggest Loser. This is the time of year that we're all wanting to set those New Year's resolutions and get going. And as a healthcare practice, our employees should be doing the best that they can be to stay healthy. So look at the calendar. Create events for each month of the year that you can center around fitness or overall health care. January, kick off weight loss. February could be heart month, and so on and so on. There's a calendar out there from the National Association of Well-Being that gives different events for each month of the year. Just Google that information. And I think you can put together a program that reflects maybe even your practice specialty, that reflects each month of the year, that you can get your employees involved in and even broadcast it to your patients. Look at smoking. We've talked about the monthly initiatives, having healthy snacks in your break room. Again, walk the talk. When you see healthcare workers walking around at 3 o'clock with the Snickers bar, not the best example for everyone. So provide your employees with fruit, protein bars, bottled water that they can easily grab when they have 5 minutes to spare. So before we end, I want to take just a few minutes to talk about you, the manager. only 2% of people can work without supervision. We call these people leaders. This is the kind of person you are meant to be, and it's who you will be if you decide to. You must learn to motivate yourself on your own. And so to reach your full potential, you must form the habit of putting the pressure on yourself and developing the qualities of a good leader. Make certain you are taking time for you. As leaders, when we get bogged down in the daily task, our purpose, our health, our well-being suffers. And when this happens, we're not able to do for others. So grab your calendars and schedule some time for you. We schedule everything else in our life. Why not schedule some time that is your time? You need your own leadership training, your own quiet time, and your time to exercise. And who says you can't multitask? I have found a lot of success with listening to podcasts while I run. I was just reminded the other day when I had a conversation with a client who is a young mom with a 45-minute commute. And I shared with her how I learned to appreciate that time myself when I was a young mom and had a very long commute myself. And I realized early on in that time period that it was many times the only time during the day that I had to myself. So I learned to listen to motivational books at that time, and it really made the time go by, but it gave me something back. And truthfully, sometimes I just enjoyed the absolute silence in the car. So let me leave you with this last quote. John Quincy Adams said, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, and do more, and become more, you are a leader." And I think today, by just taking these few minutes to listen to this podcast, you are taking those next steps. So I hope next Monday you have a great Monday. Thanks so much.
Michelle, thank you very much. I know I was taking notes during the presentation, and if you can move your slide to the next one, I'd like to, those of you that are listening through the podcast, you may want to go back to the website, NAIMP.org, and you can see all of the slides that Michelle went through. And if you want to contact her, you can call her at 770-642-6100 extension 235, or email her at michelle.lee@averypartners.com, or go to www.averypartners.com, and Avery is A-V-E-R-Y. Again, you can, if you want to take some notes, come back and see the slides, go to NAIMP.org, or listen to any of our other podcasts. So thanks again, Michelle, for your presentation, and we will see you next time.
Check out our website today at naimp.org.